Brigade Adjutant, Cadet Captain Jim Byrne from Gosen, Virginia. The Brigade Energy and Environmental Officer, Cadet Captain Brian Meese from West Point, New York. The Brigade Operations Officer, Cadet Captain David Adamick from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. The Brigade Logistics Officer, Cadet Captain Hannah Johnson from Middletown, Delaware. And the Brigade Command Sergeant Major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major George Fletcher from Los Angeles, California. Since the days of the American Revolution, flag bearers have been an important element of ceremonies. Leading today's formation and bearing the national color is the United States Corps of Cadets Color Guard, led by Cadet Color Sergeant Brett Kruger from Lockport, Illinois.
First Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Joseph Amoroso from Marlborough, New York. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Jeremy Zanolini from Drums, Pennsylvania. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Jacob Young from Waverly, Minnesota. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Nicholas Barbier from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Michael Herrick from Woodbridge, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Rachel Miller from Norfolk, Massachusetts. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Clifford Crockett from Newville, Pennsylvania. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain John Carroll from Americus, Georgia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Javier Sesteda from Temple, Texas. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Christopher Marengo from Landover, Pennsylvania. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Jessica Jordan from Cincinnati, Ohio. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Douglas Game from Phoenix, Arizona. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Timothy Stein from Colchester, Illinois. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Benjamin Thomas from Bel Air, Maryland. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Corey Traynor from West Point, New York. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Matthew Whitley from Social Circle, Georgia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Mohammed Khan from Stafford, Virginia. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Brian Greeley from Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Tyler Woodhouse from Cincinnati, Ohio. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain William Semple from Mobile, Alabama. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant William Moffett from Corpus Christi, Texas. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Nicole Segrist from York, Pennsylvania. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant A.J. Tuminello from Yorktown, Virginia. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain James McGibbon from Plano, Texas. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Catherine Leonard from Fort Wayne, Indiana. The 2nd Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Brant Swagaman from Yuba City, California. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Derek Briggs from Russell, Pennsylvania. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Catherine Dieter from Orlando, Florida. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Claire Betterbed from Fox Island, Washington. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Grant Matthews from Coronado, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Justin Kahn from San Marino, California. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Derek Turner from Santa Barbara, California. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Richard Garcia from San Clemente, California. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Rex Robinson from Colorado Springs, Colorado. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Eric Moore from Bothell, Washington. The second battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Bobby Zhang from Newark, Delaware. The battalion command sergeant major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Matthew Pierce from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Neil Bray from Piedmont, South Carolina. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Neil Fletcher from Hays, Kansas. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain William Dorner from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Brenna Heisterman from Clifton, New Jersey. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Andrew Tyndall from Centerville, Virginia. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Brendan Richard from Madison, Connecticut. The third battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain David Bierbrower from O'Fallon, Illinois. The battalion command sergeant major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Bill Owens III from Marlinton, West Virginia. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Brianna Anglin from Wharton, Texas. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Gregory Westner from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Blake Boyd from Pinehurst, North Carolina. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Chris DiBiase from Sanibel, Florida. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Richard Talbot from Jaredstown, West Virginia. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Emily Taylor from Greenville, South Carolina. The 3rd Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Cody Huggins from Wasilla, Alaska. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Colby Brunette from Lincoln, Rhode Island. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Zach Oliver from Buford, Georgia. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Sarah Roger from El Paso, Texas. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Holden Neff from Glastonbury, Connecticut. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Thomas Ankenbauer from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Yu Jin from Phoenix, Arizona. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Austin Martin from Springfield, Virginia. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Brian Walter from Syracuse, New York. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Patrick Smith from Los Angeles, California. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Brian Chen from Boulder, Colorado. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Chandler Williams from Boulder, Colorado. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Anna Cruikshank from Fort Colorado Springs, Colorado. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Alexander Chang from Sammamish, Washington. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Leland Navy from Cazenovia, New York. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Mark Owens from Pearl River, New York. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Justinas Zakavichus from Vilnius, Lithuania. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Matthew Fitzgerald from Menlo Park, California. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Jay Hughes from Shade, New Jersey. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Dylan Hanna from White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Thomas Riley from Buda, Texas. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Brewster Tisson from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Clark Wan from Troy, Michigan. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Bradford Schauffer from Forest, Virginia. And Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Brian LaRusso from Rocky Point, New York. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Charles Smygen from Vernon, New Jersey.
The 4th Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Angela Smith from Vestal, New York. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Jonathan Trayson from Strongsville, Ohio. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Gabe Royal from New Haven, Connecticut. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Joshua Haskins from Fort Benning, Georgia. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Kieran Kane from Duluth, Georgia. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Justin Rabb from Longwood, Florida. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Laura Yeager from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Jonathan Gooden from Bucksport, Maine. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Chris Jarrett from Bloomfield, Kentucky. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Jonathan DiBianco from Freehold, New Jersey. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Grant Ward from Brewster, New York. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Mark Pohl from Apple Valley, Minnesota. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Christopher Nelson from Leavenworth, Kansas. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Abigail Osmond from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Garrett Van Omering from San Diego, California. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Joseph McKenna from Olney, Maryland. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Lee Rosenberger from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant John Cronin from Lunenburg, Massachusetts. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Ian Quinn from Kenmore, Washington. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Brendan Buckley from Massapequa, New York. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Mark Maybaum from Saratoga Springs, New York. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Stephanie Wangeman from Monument, Colorado. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Aaron Mallory from Honolulu, Hawaii. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Brian Tumalillo from Trenton, New Jersey. And Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Elizabeth Constantino from Burlingame, California. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Justin Anka from Lahaina, Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Corps of Cadets. Ladies and gentlemen, standing before you are the cadets of the United States Military Academy and members of the United States Army Cadet Command. Every one of them has chosen to answer the call to duty. With their salute, they recognize and honor your show of support. These cadets today will lead America's sons and daughters tomorrow in the defense of our great nation. And now, Army fans, join the Corps as they cheer the Army team towards victory with the Rocket.